What's up, Model Geeks? Hey, it's Brian, and we are doing a final on the 41 Woody Wagon by AMT/Ertl. This was actually a very enjoyable kit to build. I liked it so much that I went out and got another one for myself, but I didn't get the street rod version for myself. I got the stock version, white wall tires and all that kind of jazz, because I thought this would be so fun to build as a regular street version. Now, couple things about this particular photograph here. First of all, this is the rear bumper. Okay, so that's the rear bumper. And then up here, there are no turn signals. Yep, no turn signals up there on the top at all. And they also shaved the mirrors off here too. Why? Well, because the mirrors are probably the worst part of the kit, and we'll get to that in a second. But I find it interesting that they use a photograph for box art that's not what you get in the kit at all. That was a little bit disappointing on that part there, but the box art for the stock version does look a lot better. So let's take a look at what we came up with. Ta-da! So we did this for our friend Cindy. She's a friend of the family, really sweet lady, and we enjoy spending time with her whenever we can. She lives about 70 miles from us up in the mountains, and she's a lucky bugger for having that. But especially when it's 111 degrees outside. But she requested that we do this with an olive drab paint job, and I think that was a stellar idea because it came out looking beautiful. Now, she said OD green. I just went ahead and picked out a Tamiya color, and it was the AS series, which is like their aircraft series. And I'm sorry, I can't recall the name, the color, because I did run out of it as it was used in other projects, and this was the last of it. So I don't recall what the number was, but I do remember that it was the American shade, because I think there's a British OD and then there's an American OD green, and we used the American one on this one. So we did do a couple little things. First of all, we did swap out the wheels and tires because I did not like the ones that are in the kit. The ride height was all wrong for those because they were really short wheels and tires. So we swapped them out for these taller guys. They're a little bit narrower. They look like they fit the car a little better than what was on the box art. We did do a really nice job with the wood graining on the sides there. This is Tamiya. This was airbrushed on, and it was just straight up, here it is, dark yellow, XF60 dark yellow. So we used that, and then we went back over with the darker panels here. This is all brush painted here. And we talked about this in the past. We had come up with our own custom mixture for this. No, it's not a Corvette engine. Pay no attention to that. There you go. And it's been breaking down a little bit here. And I did say that I would talk about what we used in our mixtures, and we'll do that at the end of the video. But for right now, let's just give us a spin here, and we'll take a little look around. We did do a little bit of silver paint on the hinges and door latches. I thought those looked good brought out that way there. Oh, yes, I forgot to mention that overall, over the entire wood area there, we did airbrush on some of this here. I thought it was going to be too orange, so we wanted to do this here. It turned out to be a little too orange, so we went back over it with just plain old transparent yellow, clear yellow, and that's what gave us the honey tone that we really looked for on this particular one. Let's give it a spin. We did do some custom decals through here because she's a huge fan of all types of music, so we printed out decals from all different bands that she likes. She's also a big fan of the Buffalo Sabres, which is I guess a hockey team. I'm not up on my sports, but around the backside here, we have an AC/DC tag down here on the lower bumper, one of my favorite bands. Got Fleetwood Mac there, we got the Deadheads, and then we got Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young on the back there. She's also a big fan of those folks. And we did do California tags on here, even though she is from New York. I hope she doesn't mind. But this really had more of a California beachcomber feel rather than a something that'd be cruising around Buffalo, New York. But the vehicle does come with 2 rear license plates. I'm not quite sure why they did that, but maybe it was a thing back then. So we have the California tag on the driver's side, and on the passenger side we have the 1941 tag, which is for the actual year of the car. Something that is a little concerning about this kit is how much the rear bumper mounts hang down from behind the car. I wasn't aware of how bad that was going to be until we did our final fit and finish on this, and then I saw how bad that was. So I think that in the future, if I was doing this kit again, which I will be, I would take a close look at how that's going to fit together back there. Right now, it kind of is what it is, and I can't really go back on it. So, it's like my friend James says, we're always striving for the perfect build, and the reason why we keep doing it is because we haven't reached that perfection yet. So we talked about the mirrors a second ago. The mirrors, they are the fiddly, most fragile thing I have ever seen in the car kit. They are super mega delicate. As a matter of fact, this one broke just trying to clip it off the parts tree. And we had done one of these kits many years ago, and the only thing I remember about building it was these gosh darn mirrors. So we tried to do our very bestest on making sure that those are going to be okay, and we still ended up breaking one. And I'm actually kind of worried about transporting this up to our friend because we're going to lose one. So the trick on this guy here was getting the hood to fit well, and we were able to accomplish that. But the way the hood fit on there, it was very persnickety. So we ended up actually tacking in some magnets, and we can see them. Oh, I got to paint the bottom of the hood. Look at that. We tacked in some magnets there, and then we countersunk them in the cowl up in here, which worked out perfectly. And let's get brave and take a little tip right here. So you can see the little magnet holes there. And while we have the car in this orientation, let's go ahead and just appreciate how nice that engine looks. Oh yeah, that's nice. Good job, Brian. Thank you, Brian. But yeah, actually not a bad kit at all, especially for being an AMT kit. I have heard tell that this is one of those kits that was done back when AMT was really gunning for Tamiya, when they wanted to come out with something that was a bit nicer, a bit easier to build, and a little bit better on the quality all the way around. So I think that kits from AMT of this vintage are going to be pretty close to this type of build, and I would build more of these kits if this is what AMT was producing currently. Everybody has different feelings about how kit manufacturers do their jobs and stuff, but I would say that this is actually something that I would enjoy building again, so much so that I actually bought another one. so there we go. There's the final on the 41. Let's just take a quick second here and we'll talk about paint. Okay, so the color scheme for the 41 Ford Woody, that boils down basically to what we see in front of us here. So I actually made a mistake in the earlier part of the video where I had said that I had used an American Air Force color, OD green, but it turns out I actually had used AS30. This is a dark green RAF color, and it says dark green too. I love the Mustang on here. That's kind of cool looking. But I got to tell you, I apologize about making the mistake. They are very close in color scheme and shade, I should say. But this is what we used for the green on the car, and I think it turned out stellar. So no qualms about that. But the actual light coloring on the wood, we started off with the X59. The desert yellow color, we just sprayed that, airbrushed that right on over the gray primer, and then we were done with that. That was it for that. Then we moved on to the darker colors, and we started off. Now logic tells us that we start off with a light color and add the dark colors, so we can bring up the color to where we want it to be. But we don't use logic here. That's why I want to change my channel name to IDK Garage, because I don't know what I'm doing. So we started off with our XF9. Thought, yeah, that might be a great color. We'll just lighten it up a little bit. So we started off with our XF9, or Hull Red. That was too dark. So we thought, well, we'll add some red brown in, That still was too dark. Didn't change anything. So I thought, okay, next we'll add in some of this dark yellow. That'll tone it down. Well, that wasn't toning it down enough, so we actually had to go and add in some white. And sadly, what that did was it actually kind of grayed things out a little bit, kind of, muted things a bit. But I thought, well, I want to bring back some of the red tones. I didn't mind the actual overall color, but it wasn't having that like mahogany look that I really wanted to have. So I ended up adding in some X27, which is clear red or transparent red. And that really helped bring it up. We actually just kind of went full bore here and then tossed in some clear orange, some X26. And if we look in the jar here as it's breaking down, we can see that there's some transparent orange in there. And we can also make out some transparent red in there on top of what's all the heavier paints, the darker brown paints. I thought that was the key. That was really cool how that was coming out and everything. So we let that all cure up and left it alone for a couple days. And then over the Desert Yellow, the XF59, and our custom mixture for the darker color, we just hit it with the clear yellow XF24. So we just did a spray over the whole thing and then went back, remasked it, and then did our AS30 over the metal parts that we wanted to have. So that's basically what we did. And sadly, I can't really do a tutorial on how we mixed up the paint and everything because I am drastically low on just about everything here, except for this guy. We got plenty of that jazz. But yeah, we're getting drastically low on our supplies here, and the hobby shops they're threatening to close again. So one thing that I did do that I didn't mention earlier is we use pipettes for all of our mixing. Now I just use this as a transporter to get stuff out of the paint pots and into the mixing jar. So these are graduated. You can get them on Amazon. You can get like 1,000 of them for just a few bucks or whatever. But these are graduated. I don't follow that per se because I was going for more of an eyeball deal with the coloring. So yeah, these are the colors that I basically used, and I hope it answers any questions you might have had on how we did that. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in again. I really appreciate all the awesome comments, especially about the 427 engines from Chevy. That really helped sort out what we're going to do with our Polar Plus kit that we're working on still. And everybody have a great rest of your day. Bye now.